Oh, that sounds like the start of some weird neighborhood feud. But trust me, it gets worse. Because Karen didn't just take a couple of logs. No. She waited until I was at work, marched right onto my porch like she owned the place, filled 2 wheelbarrows with the seasoned oak I'd spent all winter splitting, and rolled it right back to her backyard, like she was returning from a heroic lumber expedition. And the moment I found out, I swear I could hear something inside me crack louder than any axe swing. But before I get ahead of myself, let me start with the hook that really kicked this whole thing off. "Hey, neighbor," Karen said that evening, leaning over the fence with a smug little smile. "Thanks for the firewood. We're having a rustic outdoor experience night. You're welcome to come. Tickets are $20. Tickets to sit around a fire burning my own logs." I stared at her, completely stunned. "Karen, you stole my firewood." She waved her hand like I'd just accused her of borrowing salt. "It wasn't stealing. You left it on the porch." "Because that's where firewood goes," I snapped. "Near the fire pit. At my house." "Well," she said, shrugging, "it's just wood. You can always get more." That was the moment I decided I wasn't just going to get even. I was going to out-Karen the Karen. So the next morning while she was at work, because yes, I checked, I replaced every log in my stack with decorative, hollow, fake fireplace logs I bought from a thrift store. Glossy, perfect, totally useless. But they looked legit from the outside. Then I posted flyers around the neighborhood with a big, bold headline. "Premium Artisanal Firewood Experience, $15 per person. Limited spots, BYOS, bring your own snacks." I put the price lower than Karen's to make sure people noticed. Within hours, my phone buzzed nonstop. "Is this the firewood thing? Do you still have spots? Does the experience include storytelling?" I had no idea what experience meant yet. But I nodded, smiled, and said, "Absolutely." By sunset, a small crowd showed up in my backyard, armed with blankets, popcorn, and that eager look people get when they think they're about to participate in something trendy. Karen stormed over the moment she saw the gathering. "You can't just copy my event," she snapped. "Copy?" I replied. "No, Karen, I'm elevating." She blinked. "Elevating what?" I gestured at the decorative logs, stacked perfectly by my fire pit. These aren't ordinary logs. They're heritage-inspired, hand-curated atmospheric elements. They don't burn, they evoke. Someone in the crowd gasped, like I'd just revealed ancient wisdom. Karen's face twitched. "What does that even mean?" she demanded. I smiled slowly, savoring the moment. "It means," I said, "you lit my real firewood on fire yesterday. I'm about to make more money than you, selling nothing but vibes." The crowd erupted in laughter. Karen's jaw clenched so hard I could hear her test. Grit over the murmurs of the crowd. "You can't make money off fake firewood," she hissed. "People are here for warmth, for ambiance." I shrugged. "Ambiance is exactly what I'm selling. These logs are art, Karen. They're curated to spark imagination, not flames." The crowd nodded like I'd delivered a TED Talk. One man in a flannel jacket raised his hand. "So, what do we do? Just sit around the non-fire?" "Exactly," I said warmly. "Tonight is about slowing down, feeling present, experiencing connection without distraction." Total nonsense. But the kind of nonsense people eat up when they think it's profound. Karen scoffed. "This is ridiculous. People won't pay to stare at fake logs." Before I could even answer, a teenager in the group said, "Actually, this is kind of dope. It's like anti-fire, minimalist, aesthetic." A woman added, "Yeah, it's peaceful. No smoke in my hair." Someone else chimed in, "And cheaper than Karen's." Karen turned tomato red. "This is not cheaper," she barked. "My event had real fire." My eyebrows lifted. I kept my voice calm but loud enough for the crowd to hear. "You mean the one fueled by the firewood you took without asking?" Gasps, literal gasps. She sputtered. "I told you it wasn't stealing." A man crossed his arms. "So you did take his firewood." "Borrowed," she snapped. "I was going to return the ashes." More laughter. Karen's face twisted. I decided it was time to pour gasoline, not on a fire, but on her ego. "Look," I said, standing up. "Karen's backyard fires are great if you want flames. But what I'm offering is something different. A space to breathe, a space to tell stories, a space to connect with your inner whatever." I waved a hand vaguely. A woman with chunky glasses whispered, "This is so spiritual." I almost choked, trying not to laugh. Karen threw up her hands. "This is absurd. People want real fire, real heat." I leaned closer to her, dropping my voice. "You want a feud? Fine. But you started this by taking something that wasn't yours. So now, watch me turn nothing into an experience people actually want." She stormed off, muttering, "This isn't over!" The night turned out better than I expected. I told a few stories, people shared some of their own, and by the end, a handful of them slipped. Me extra cash because they said the event was therapeutic, all for sitting around fake logs. But the real twist came the next morning. A frantic knock rattled my door. I opened it to find Karen standing there, hair frazzled, eyes wide, holding a half-melted plastic log. "You set me up!" she shrieked. "My guests complained. They said my fire smelled like chemicals. I didn't know one of the logs I grabbed was fake." I blinked, confused. "Wait, you took the decorative logs too?" She jabbed the melted log at me. "Fix this!" And that was when the idea for my greatest plan yet sparked in my mind. A plan that would outplay Karen so hard she'd never mess with me again. Karen stood up, on my porch gripping that half-melted fake log like it was a lawsuit waiting to happen. Her hair was frizzed, her mascara smudged, and her voice cracked with a desperate edge I had never heard from her before. "I need you to help me," she said through clenched teeth. My guests left terrible reviews on my event page. They said the fire smelled toxic. "Do you know what that does to my brand?" "Your brand?" I echoed. "Yes," she screeched. "I run curated backyard experiences. People come to me for authenticity." I couldn't help it. I laughed. Not a chuckle. A full, embarrassingly loud laugh that almost sent me to my knees. "You stole my real logs," I said, wiping tears from my eyes, "then stole my fake logs. And now you want me to fix the disaster you made?" She glared at me with the fury of someone who had never once accepted responsibility for anything in her life. "I'll pay you," she snapped. That shut me up. Now listen, I'm not a saint. I'm not even particularly patient. But I am someone who believes that if the universe hands you karma coated in opportunity, you take it with both hands. "How much?" I asked. She hesitated. $20. I burst out laughing again. "Karen, that barely covers the cost of the fake logs." Her eyes darted around, calculating. 50. "Karen," I said calmly, "I made triple that last night doing absolutely nothing." She swallowed hard. 100. 100, I repeated slowly. "For what exactly?" "For you to teach me," she said, lowering her voice as if embarrassed. "How to create an experience." I raised an eyebrow. "You want me to train you?" She nodded stiffly. "People listened to you." "They believed you. They stayed. Mine left after the smoke smell started. And one of them accused me of trying to fumigate them." I tried so hard not to laugh again. "Well," I said, stepping outside and crossing my arms, "if I'm going to be your mentor, the first lesson is simple. You can't steal from people." She rolled her eyes. "Fine, lesson learned." "No," I corrected. "You have to show me you mean it." "How?" I pointed to the stack of remaining decorative logs in my yard. "I want you to host your own atmospheric stillness session. No fire, no heat, just vibes. And you have to credit me publicly as the inspiration." She stared at me, horrified. "That's humiliating." "That's lesson 1. For the first time since I'd known her, Karen looked small, human, like someone who'd finally run out of excuses. "Fine," she said quietly. "I'll do it." And she did. The next weekend, she hosted a no-fire backyard session. People loved it. She swallowed her pride, credited me, even apologized for the Firewood fiasco, publicly. And me? I realized something that night. People don't show up for firewood, or fake logs, or curated experiences. They show up for connection, for stories, for moments. And if you're reading this or retelling this or planning to use it in your own content, here's the left. If someone tries to dim your light, find another way to glow. And if you ever catch a Karen taking your firewood, turn it into fuel.